Welcome to I.T.P.A. News, bringing you a little bit of truth and a little bit of inspiration. Welcome back to I.T.P.A. News, bringing you a little bit of truth and a little bit of inspiration. Today is fun. I have a ton of information to give you guys. Thanks for joining in. Let's hop right into it. So first off, I want to give a huge shout out to the Movement ITPA's first athletes of the week, Mara and Ella. These sisters, they came to training and they worked extremely hard. I had to force them to take a water break because they just wanted to keep working and keep getting better. Not only did they work hard at trainings, they worked hard at home. One of the big things as coaches and trainers that we always talk about and preach about is coachability. These sisters are like sponges. I gave them specific drills and tasks I wanted them to work on. They went home and they worked on it. They came back the next week for training. I could tell they have already gotten better. This is exactly what, as a trainer, we want from our athletes, to take the knowledge and skills that we give them at training and do them at home and practice them on their own time. That's how you get better. And I have no doubt in my mind that these girls are getting better. So I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Keep working. Keep getting better. All right, so next up, I was asked, why I started this broadcast. And of course, as the intro tells you, it's a little bit of truth and a little bit of inspiration. But actually digging deeper and going deeper in depth into why I started this journey and this broadcast, I had a conversation with the Equity and Diversity Director of Marion City Schools, Mr. Johnny Jackson, an incredible human being, great man. And he asked me a simple question: what space can you create to impact others in a positive way and give that positive outlet? This was something that I came up with. This isn't broadcast, it's an outlet to highlight the positivity that I see and I notice every day. And these stories that don't get told and don't get seen in mainstream media. I am a huge Dr. DeGroote fan, and actually Johnny Jackson sent me this interview by Nick Cannon to listen to. I want to play a clip for you guys. Listen to her message. It is absolutely aligned to the content I am trying to present and broadcast. But it's funny because this interview came after I started the broadcast, but it's exactly what I want to change and impact. Take a listen.
And we need to start showing the positive pictures. Our children don't get enough of, most of us are doing, we're doing okay. If you look at black people, how about, the people that, they're not squandering stuff, they're not drug addicts, we have lots of examples of that. We don't ever see them. That's not the ones you see. I asked my audience to close their eyes. I said, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine a scene. There's yellow tape. There are 3 young men with no shirts on, with their hands handcuffed behind them. You got a picture in your mind, and that's the problem. That's the image that constantly is being the refrain our children are seeing over and over again. If it's a criminal, we can take a picture of them. We begin to believe it. There's a recent research study that was done, 2016, Yale Child Study Center. The Yale Child Center. And what it does is it took 135 teachers, preschool, and they showed them some short videos. And they said, let us know when you see a potentially problem behavior coming up. The deception is there was no problem behavior. And what they were going to do as they looked at the video is to look at the trajectory of their gaze, to look at who they looked at, who they looked for. Wow. So now there is no troubling behavior, but what the eye scan technology wanted to see was where did they look when they expected it.
Wow.
And they looked at black children and they looked at black boys more than anyone else.
Wow.
So now what happens with that, now were those 135 teachers all white? No. We've all been taught the same thing. And see, therein lies the issue. So the good news is we have a certain level of resiliency. The other thing is we've got to begin to change that trajectory,
right,
so that we begin to understand within ourselves. They showed these teachers children off task, white child, black child, off task, doing the same off task behavior.
Right.
Teacher didn't see the white child. The teacher saw the black child because that's where they looked for it, even though it was happening at the exact same time. So we have to understand that this is operating right now.
Wow. So that is exactly what this broadcast is for me to all of you, is giving you that picture of positivity. And I want to highlight two young men today who are a picture of that positivity. The first is Trey Hudson. I had the honor and privilege of coaching this young man in high school, his senior year of basketball. When I got there, he had a reputation of having an attitude, being a poor sport, and just being all about himself. When I met him, I saw something completely different. I saw passion, I saw talent, and I saw anger. Not anger in the sense of he was an angry basketball player, but anger in the sense of he wanted to be respected on and off the court. We developed a relationship of hard work and trust. He knew I had his back. He knew I respected his game. He knew I supported him. And from there, I was able to get the most out of him. Still to this day, he still calls me and says, "Hey, coach, can you send me basketball workouts? Can you train me?" Because that hunger is still there. But more importantly, the young man he has become, his reputation of being angry and having a poor attitude has completely changed. Now the narrative is Trey Hudson, the community activist, the leader, the guy who is creating positive change for his community. He was actually appointed to be on the Troy Human Relations Committee. This young man is doing incredible things. He is a part of an organization, the Troy Freedom Chasers, to advocate, educate, and communicate. He's a leader. Seeing his journey and his process of maturation has been everything. That's what this is all about for me, touching the youth who are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. Trey is that leader. He has went from this great basketball player with a chip on his shoulder to now a community activist and leader with a chip on his shoulder. And I am proud of him. Continue on your journey, continue working hard, continue being a leader, and I'm going to continue to champion you along the way. The next young man I want to highlight is Bailey Williams.
Council is elected positions. The mayor is an elected position. You guys have to register to vote and vote in your general elections. Or if, when they go home tonight, what will have changed?
Nothing.
You guys have to be the change that you want to see, all right? You can do that, threaten the ones with your votes who are currently in office to do their job. All right?
Bailey was the president of Ohio University's Democratic Party. Not only was he the president, he graduated magna cum laude with a degree in economics and a minor in political science. He is now attending the University of Cincinnati College of Law. This young man is incredible. I had the opportunity to work with him at the Lincoln Community Center in Troy, Ohio, and he is wise beyond his years. This guy's on the rise. He is somebody who I would vote for today. His passion, his energy, his effort, it's captivating. He has a great heart, a great mind. I know his family is super proud of him. I'm super proud of him. And again, I will continue to champion this young man on his journey. Last but certainly not least, I had the opportunity to interview Arielle Charnae on her journey in becoming a police officer in the Northeast Ohio area. I talk a lot about bridging the gap and having the youth see diversity and minorities in leadership positions. Well, here's a few clips of the interview I had with Arielle and the insight she gave me in her journey in becoming a police officer. For those of you who don't know, there is an article in the Akron Beacon Journal that Arielle was in. If you have some time, I advise you to go ahead and take a quick read at that, look at that. But then that article, you talked about your career change.
The last job that I had it made. I was working from home. I just crawl out of bed, log in, and chat with people. I didn't even have to be on the phones. I would just chat with them all day. But then I kind of like woke up one day and I was just like, this is the most unfulfilling thing ever. Like, I didn't go to school and I don't have these passions to just die in the criminal justice field. So I started thinking about exactly what I wanted to do. Then I was looking at everything that was happening in the media in regards to police brutality and whatever else. And I was just like, you know what, maybe I need to explore this more. I decided that was a move that I was going to make in regard to what I can do in my field and make a difference in my community as well.
Because I think it's important for children to see different ethnicities in leadership. Talk to me about how you feel about that, because I know you said in your academy, you're the only cadet that is Black.
Representation matters at the end of the day. You're not going to have faith in something that doesn't look like you, something that you can't identify with. And I know that a lot of the Black community in particular have this explicit bias, about the police. But I think that implicitly, whether they know it or not, just having small interactions with people who do look like them can subconsciously change their mindset. Everybody wants to hold on to this, you're Black and you're becoming a cop, you're a traitor, whatever else is and this and that. And they're holding on to that so hard, consciously, but subconsciously, if I see you, even if I have to arrest you or I have to reprimand you or question you, if I'm treating you with respect and treating you in a way that's different than things that you've seen or things that you've heard, then that's going to deposit something good. And in the long run, that's what's going to help change people's minds. But if you're not willing to be on the front lines, then the change is not going to happen. The changes you want to see is not going to happen. So, yeah, I think it's important, especially for women. Like, women just don't think to be cops generally, especially Black women. So representation matters. And I think if you see more people in that role, it becomes a norm. And It's like, oh, that's something I can actually do, something I can actually achieve.
Yeah, the change. If you want change, you have to be the change. You want to be a change in law enforcement.
I think people are scared. I think it's more of a fear thing than an I can't do this. Honestly, I was scared too, but I was like, can I really do this? And I think if people just put that fear aside, the fear of the unknown, I think if we would get out of this mentality of fear and fear of failure and things like that, then it would be obviated. Just go for it. Just do it.
So with that, do you feel there's going to be pressure on you to perform?
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be pressure from both sides. When you're on the job, you can't really have a lot of personal opinions. You have to follow agency standards and you have to follow the law, and that's just it. Whereas community is going to be like, well, you're supposed to be on our side. You're Black and you're a female, but I don't feel like you have to pick a side. I feel like you can do both. I feel like I can serve my community and help implement some of the changes that everyone wants to see and still be a Black woman and be for my people. I can do both. Mm-hmm. Once again, people need to see people that don't have that mindset. Mm-hmm. To them, everyone has a mindset. You have to pick a side. You got to be one or the other, either you for us or against us. And I think seeing more of those examples where, hey, I'm actually actively picking both, I think that'll help change that mindset.
Go back and tell yourself 3 things, your younger self, what would you tell her?
Don't be so quick to grow up. I definitely cherish my parents a lot more. If I had known I would lose my mom at 24, I definitely would have approached that relationship a lot differently. And also, just don't be afraid to be alone. I was kind of a loner. I wasn't the popular kid. I thought it was something wrong with me because of that, but actually that's what I feel makes me a leader. I'm not a leader because people necessarily follow me, but because I don't have to be a part of a crowd. I don't have to share a majority mindset or do something that everybody else is out here doing. So there's nothing wrong with that, and that's absolutely okay.
Wow. There's more where that came from. Just click on the YouTube link in the bio to catch the interview in its entirety. Now let's recap a few highlights. Challenge ourselves. Let's challenge our implicit and explicit bias. This will help us to serve others and be better versions of ourselves. Don't be fearful. Go after your dreams. Like Nike says, just do it. Be the change and inspiration you want our youth to see. And what will help that change in the future is representation. Representation matters. Cherish your loved ones. Love on them and listen to them as much as you possibly can. Don't be so quick to grow up. I'm still trying to sip on that fountain of youth. Arielle, you're an everyday hero, and I will continue to champion you and share your story. Thank you for being an inspiration, a face for our youth and community to see and look up to, and for challenging the stereotypes of today. You are an everyday hero. Thank you. And that's all for this broadcast of I.T.P.A. News. Until next time, love. It's the movement. I.T.P.A. Intentional talk, purposeful action.